Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Football by Rob. It's Rob here. I'm just going to do a quick video where I discuss the possible transfer plans that Arsenal might have in case Thomas Partey leaves, because it will be very important to maintain squad balance moving forward if we want to keep up with City, Liverpool, and also compete properly in Champions League. So I'm just going to cut to my laptop screen from here, and you'll see me in the corner, and we'll take it from there. Cheers. Right. So the reason I'm worried about Arsenal right now is because of this man, Thomas Partey. He's going to leave this season. From the looks of it, his contract is up in a week's time, and the main concern is that we are going to lose two midfielders with experience within the span of a month, and I feel it will be extremely difficult for Arsenal to perform at this level that we are expecting them to if we don't address that fact. Now, I'm just going to play a little audio clip from this interview of Henry's on the overlap. It was like 3 weeks ago. And I know everyone's clipped up that part where he's talking about Mikel Arteta and the building is very tall, and rightfully so. He has every right to call Arteta out on that. There was another little portion right after that that actually caught my eye even more. And I'm going to play the audio for copyright purposes. And once that is done, we'll again come back to the discussion that I want to have.
If you look at all the teams recently that have been winning big things, more often than not, okay, you can look at the front three and you look at the team, but look at who is on the bench. How many times the guy coming from the bench saved the season?
Yeah.
So I think it was last year, no? Allen went on 8 games without scoring or 7. Mm-hmm. Julian Alvarez. Bang, bang, bang. Riyad Mahrez before. Bang, bang, bang. Scoring goals. And then after, who scored the most? Haaland. Yeah. But when Haaland wasn't scoring, or he was injured, or he wasn't there, or whatever, Julian Alvarez, boom, goal. Riyad Mahrez, boom, goals. People always focus on the guy that's going to make difference. That guy will make the difference if everybody is on point. Because Kane, how many goals Kane scored you didn't win the title. So when the Invincibles our team started to go, my goals were the same. But we're not winning titles anymore. My goals didn't move, but we're not winning titles. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? So as much as you're going to have that guy that's going to come, you also need to make sure that the squad is well equipped to be able to play on everything. Because this year, once again, because I look at all those things and I'm trying to see, we went early out of the cup. Those weekends that we didn't play helps. Look at Inter finishing the season this year. Yeah. It's tough to play everything. And you have to go also to the Club World Cup or whatever they have to go. Yeah. I mean, how do you play everything? So the balance of the squad needs to be right. You need to have, I still think we need a 9. And it's not because you go on a run of 15 and then suddenly we don't win or we don't score, we don't have a 9. But when we score, I don't hear anyone saying we need a 9.
What Henry is saying is really correct about how when the Invincibles dropped off, it wasn't because of him. It was because we were losing players all over. And even though his goals stayed consistent, we weren't winning anymore, or we weren't competing at that same level. We couldn't keep up with Chelsea at that point in time. We couldn't keep up with United at that point in time. It was extremely difficult for us. We were even occasionally worried about being eclipsed by Spurs maybe. So I think what he said is really, really important, because if you look at Partey right now, I'm just going to go into his full season. He played close to 4,000 minutes this season. That is his highest since joining Arsenal, and by a country mile. If you see last season, he was really out of it, only 888. Prior to that, 2710. Prior to that, 2108. And before that is 2319. Pardon me. So he played his most by a long shot, and he isn't getting any younger. 32. He's had an injury prone record as well, so it hasn't always been really rosy for him either. And given the fact that he's getting old, one will expect that his minutes will only reduce if he wants to keep playing at that same level, or he can probably drop down a tier or two and keep the same minutes. Why I think it makes sense for Arsenal to sign him on for an extension, maybe a year or two, because Jorginho is leaving. In fact, left already, pardon me. He's already left. He's playing with Flamengo at the Club World Cup. If you look at his minutes, see, 2,765, that was 2 seasons ago. That is when he moved, in the half season that he moved. And even then, he wasn't really a mainstay at Chelsea either in the first half of that season. And since then, his minutes have also started dropping slowly. Now, I will expect Martin Zubimendi, the person we are apparently almost done with. I read stories that this man's been in London, the medical is done, he signed the contract, dotted the I's, crossed the T's. So I'm expecting him to take over. If you see, he has extremely similar amount of minutes played. 3955 this season. Where are we at? 3955. Wow. But if you look at him, he has been playing consistently over 3,000 plus minutes for the last 4 seasons. That actually worries partly, because with our injury track record, I won't be surprised if he ends up getting an injury this season, given the fact that he has so many minutes in his legs already. But anyway, I hope that doesn't happen, touch wood. Now, coming back to the topic, because Jorginho is already gone, Partey is almost out the door. We haven't been able to sign him on, and I can understand his side of the deal as well, right? He's probably thinking this is his last big contract. So that means he will want to hold out for as much money as possible, or obviously he will want to explore free agency, where he can just convert any fee that would go to the club into a signing on fee for himself to keep. I can totally understand that. But I want to hope that because he's had an extended stay at Arsenal, and I'm wanting to assume that he's happy enough that he will consider a contract. But again, I don't think it will make sense for Arsenal to give him anything more than a 2-year contract. And when I say 2 year, I mean 1 year with a 1 year option. That can be mutual, or it will have to be us. It can't just be entirely on Partey to have that option. So in case, in a hypothetical world, these two are gone, Jorginho is gone, in a hypothetical world where Partey is gone, what should Arsenal be doing? Because Zubimendi alone cannot be expected to play the minutes of these two together, right? It doesn't make sense. I think you either go buy a midfielder, but again, if you want to buy a midfielder, what type of midfielder are you buying? Are you going for youth? Are you going for experience? Youth will again probably bring those teething problems that we had with a Kiwi or a Martinelli initially when he came to the club, that you will not be able to rely on them in the pivotal crunch moments, or you will be hesitant to put all your eggs in that basket in that point in time. As a squad option coming off the bench, it's different. Now, I will prefer something like this man, Miles Lewis-Kelly. He is already expected to sign a contract, from what I'm hearing from people like Charles Watts and from The Athletic. I'm hoping it's true, because we need to nail him down to a proper contract ASAP, because I've heard Real Madrid and the likes are sniffing around. And why I want him to be at the club long term and be in that sort of Arteta type mold where he can play more than one position proper, well, not just serviceable. And that is because he came up in the youth ranks as a left midfielder, right? And even if you look at his heat map, this is his heat map for Arsenal as a left back. He's hardly ever in the left back position. He is much more involved in the midfield, in the center of the park, sometimes even foraying into the attacking third as well, and either creating chances or creating a situation where the opponent is compelled to foul him. That is exactly the kind of profile I will want from a midfielder. Now, if we do that, are we short on the defensive side? Because Alexander Zinchenko is also rumored to be leaving. Please, Milan, take him. Take him, I beg you. Take him. If he does move into midfield and if Zinchenko leaves, then I think we should look at this young man. I'm again basing this whole thing on a hypothetical situation where Calafiori is injury free. Every other player that we are discussing is not picking up an injury. Zubimendi is injury free. So it will all depend on that as well working out in our favor. But if you see Hato, look at his heat map. This is the kind of left back I will want, who can also defend. And again, I'm not saying that Miles can't defend, but I have seen him get opened up a couple of times. Just saying that. I'm his biggest fan. But I will have to confess, I will have to admit what I have seen, because eyes don't lie, right? So I will be really happy with this guy. From the looks of his minutes, he's been consistent as well. I think we have a setup, and Arteta as a manager as well can really work well with nurturing young talent, and that will make sense with Calafiori staying in front as well. Again, it can also save face for Arteta when you consider that he bought Calafiori for so much money, and Luis Kelly ended up dislodging him to be the starting left back. Again, injuries are playing a part as well, but even when Calafiori came back from injury, he could not break into the team because Luis Kelly was that good. And in hindsight, maybe, like I have mentioned in the past, we could have used the Calafiori money elsewhere. So when I look at our situation right now, this would make sense to me personally. And again, going back to what Henry said, only a striker alone will not solve it. So even in a situation where we sign Gyökeres or a Sesko or whoever else maybe, and we let this midfield vacuum develop, then it won't make sense. It will be one step forward, two step back. See, I'm wearing a Real Madrid t-shirt. Any Real Madrid fan worth their salt will remember how badly they suffered when Makelele was sold. No, I'm not comparing Partey to Makelele. I'm just talking about losing a key midfield presence. And we are losing a ton of experience this summer. So it will be all the more important for us to address that. Zubimendi alone won't be enough. I have also heard about Mikel Damsgaard, but I'm not really sold on him, even though he's a decent player, Premier League proven and well. But will it make sense for Arsenal to go for that sort of a player right now? He's on the older side as well, if I recall correctly. So I'm really not exactly sold on that idea. I would consider doing this, and then that also allows us to play Skelly in the position that he was developed in for all these years, allowing us to get another left back, and yeah, keeping proper money. If we want to replace Partey and Jorginho with a solid midfielder, it will cost money, it will cost in wages, and that person will also want minutes as well. But with Luis Kelly, we can at least manage that to an extent. It will be easier to manage considerably than an already established name. But yeah, what do you guys think? Are Arsenal making the right call by not giving Partey the extension? Part of me would just want Partey to get that extension, if you ask honestly, because I think he's played well this season. And if he got it and he can take on the Jorginho role, it would be perfect. But again, I can totally understand his point of view as well. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, drop a like. share, and subscribe with anybody if you think they'll enjoy my content. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Cheers.